In this review, I will only show footage of 3 stages from Sayonara Wild Hearts. That is because I recommend this game, and I recommend playing it for yourself without knowing exactly what will happen. This game doesn't have an elaborate story to spoil or crazy innovative puzzles to figure out, but it's an experience that I think will be cheapened if you know what to expect, and less thrilling to watch someone else play, like watching videos of a roller coaster. You want to ride that roller coaster yourself, and you should play Sayonara Wild Hearts. So what exactly is the gameplay of Sayonara Wild Hearts? Well, you're permanently moving forward, sometimes you're even shooting at stuff. So maybe it's an arcade shooter. Given the score focus, that's a good description. But point placements and quick-time events are often to the beat of the soundtrack, so it's also a rhythm game. There's a lot more focus on movement than shooting, making it more of an action game or endless runner than a shooter. Perhaps the game's own description is best: a pop album video game. Is this game difficult? No. Many levels you do not even have ways to fail. Gold ranks are not very hard to get, but you probably won't get them on your first try. I got 1 gold in my first playthrough. Some of my favorite parts of the game were, well, I'll tell you level names, that doesn't really spoil anything. Most of the levels that had songs with actual vocals ended up being some of the highlights to me, but I think my personal favorite levels were the 2 that did the most onto the exact beats of the music: Parallel Universes and Mine. Hearing those pieces of the soundtrack without the extra sound effects in-game feels weird. A couple interlude levels, on the other hand, were not that great, and I have really not wanted to go back and replay them. Not every level has to be the best, and while I do wish the game was just a little bit longer, it's better that the game is short and sweet and leaves me wanting more than being padded out with a few less interesting levels. Visuals. You will have already seen from this video that Sayonara Wild Hearts looks very distinct, and that is a huge positive. While it would be awful if every game were this flashy and neon, the appeal of anything animated is its ability to be abstract, and abstract Wild Hearts is. The flat colors and untextured models fit the game's presentation perfectly, and the shadows and bright highlights create more than enough contrast for visual clarity and a focus on the action. Outside a couple very specific edge cases, I never had trouble seeing what was happening in the game, and obstacles do not depend on hair trigger reaction time to avoid. Character designs are interesting and distinct, environment designs are well suited to the mechanics introduced, and you will not mistake screenshots of this game for something else. Post-game content. After your first playthrough, then what? Well, the game's only going to take you about an hour to finish, and you could just put the game down, hopefully satisfied. But this is an arcade-style game. Go for more. Gold ranks.
Gold rank.
The first obvious thing to do is go for gold ranks. The point totals and overall difficulty change stage to stage, but generally you need to have a deathless run to go for gold. To explain that, let's briefly talk about the scoring system. Your main source of points is the small hearts and large hearts on the stage. Each one increases your score 1 increment more than the last. The first small heart gives you just 1 point, the next 2, then 3, and so on. By the end of the stage, you could be getting hundreds of points per pickup, but the count resets if you crash, hence the need for a deathless run. Large hearts are the same, but in increments of 25 instead of 1. There's many other mechanics on certain stages that can rack up a lot of points as well. My favorite being the risky bonus. Drive close to cars or other obstacles and get a few bonus points. It won't get you gold ranks by itself, but it feels really rewarding. Next, Zodiac riddles. These are 24 extra challenges. They unlock nothing but achievements, but some of them are very cool extra challenges, like getting intentionally low scores. Others are stupid busy work that seem to just fill out the list and provide reasons to replay some stages. Like the most pointless one, which requires getting gold rank on a certain stage 3 times. For how to the point most of the game is, this challenge feels out of place for how it wastes your time. Album Arcade Mode. Do you want to play through the entire game at once? Here's your option for that. Not much more to say about this extra, but it's just good if you want to replay the entire game. Now, performance and technical stuff. Performance. This game runs flawlessly for me, but my PC far exceeds its specs. It's not an intensive game though and really should not be giving anyone trouble on any system. Now, as for game options. Nothing I'm about to say impacted my experience with the game, but it's some things that other people might care about a lot. This game has no graphics or sound options, even on PC. Want to turn down sound effects? Want to turn off anti-aliasing? Rebind controls? Tough luck. This is a console game ported to PC. You get one experience and cannot customize it. Again, I didn't care, I think the game's still good, but some people will care and this absolutely could have been done better. You can change the game resolution and that's about it. It is on Steam, so you can technically remap controls for just about any input device. I mean, the game itself could be played with an Atari joystick, although you'd really prefer at least 3 buttons, not just one, for moving back in menus and pausing. But the game gives you no options for how you can bind controls. One other weird little nitpick: button mashing. While most of the button prompts in the game are to the beat of the music, there are a few times where the game wants you to mash. I really could have done without these, as every extra press adds to your score, making mashing speed be tied to performance in an otherwise timing-based game, but you can easily get gold ranks without actually being able to mash fast at all. If you want some crazy optimal button pressing for high scores, get out a mashing spoon or a very large button you can slam with multiple fingers like an arcade stick. But unless you're chasing the absolute highest possible score, this doesn't matter. I just think that mashing segments really do not fit with the game's more casual rhythm-based gameplay. Last question. Is this game worth your money? The title of this review says yes, absolutely, and I say yes despite having some nitpicking negatives in this review. This game, however, will give you far less per dollar than most. You can again complete the game in about an hour, and the in-game content is just the same levels over again. But it's a very good hour. Some games you can go for several hours, or in the case of some especially grindy MMOs, several days between the good parts. This game is entirely the good part. But if you're not going to play this game immediately, maybe wait for a sale. It's not expensive and I would gladly pay for it again, but at $13 as of writing this, it's about equivalent to, say, a movie ticket or something. That was probably more than you wanted to hear out of a review for this game, but I had a lot of things I wanted to break down. Closing statement: Sayonara Wild Hearts is a good game. Play it.